The village green didn't start out that way. It was originally planted for residential use. Right after the turn of the 20th century, Jacob Reiner, the son of German immigrants, and his wife Fanny moved into the large frame house at 412 Wyoming Avenue, next door to the new city building at 500 Grove Avenue. With just a third grade education, Jacob had worked as a laborer in a cotton factory, probably Stearns and Foster. His wife added to their income by taking in boarders, mostly young men working in Lachlan. By 1920, the boarders were gone, and Jacob and Fanny had taken in two of Fanny's nephews, George and William Shearer. Both George and William became members of the Wyoming Fire Department and could quickly respond since the firehouse was just next door. Well, the boys grew up and Jacob retired. In 1930, he listed himself as the proprietor of a boarding house. Fanny was taking in boarders once again. Then, in 1937, Jacob sold the property to his nephew George, and he and Fanny moved into a cottage a block away on Poplar Street. Fanny died in 1941, and Jacob followed her in 1944. They're buried together in Oak Hill Cemetery, just north of Glendale. Nephew George moved into the house, along with his wife and two children, and lived there until the early 1950s. In 1955, he sold the property to the city, who wanted it to enlarge the city hall next door. Well, now things got complicated. Closure of the Oak Avenue School increased the need for classroom space in the Wyoming school buildings. In turn, that put pressure on the school board to find space for their offices. So, as it happened, in 1960, the Wyoming City Hall moved to the remodeled Oak Avenue School, and the Board of Education moved into the first floor space of the old City Hall. Now, with no need for the property next door for expansion, the city made it into a rental property. Finally, in the mid-1970s, the city tore the house down, smoothed out the foundation, and planted grass. After a gestation period of 100 years, the village green was born.